Hey everyone, quick thing before we dive in. I was looking at my analytics and it turns out most of the people watching aren't actually subscribed. See this? Way more views than subscribers. If you're enjoying the videos and want to see more, hit that subscribe button. It really helps the channel grow and you'll never miss new uploads. Alright, let's get into it.
I don't clock out. Night watch means you keep moving until the sun bullies its way under the plate or you don't move at all. That's the first rule they taught me, and maybe the only one that matters when you're patrolling the Undercity, where rules are just suggestions scribbled on walls no one bothers to read. Sector 6, Graveyard Hour. The plate hums like a live wire overhead, a constant reminder of the weight pressing down on all of us. I'm on the catwalk above the old rail spur, jacket zipped against the perpetual chill that seeps through the gaps in the metal city. My baton is taped for better grip, radio hissing static against my hip. The air tastes like pennies and wet steel, the flavor of Midgar at night, familiar as an old scar. Below me, a patchwork of tents, tarps, fires. People trying to live under the shadow of those who decided they were disposable. Above me, pipes that sweat green, dripping something that isn't quite water onto a world that isn't quite alive. Then the siren hits. Not the corporate one with its clean, efficient wail, the other one. The one we cobbled together from scavenged speakers so we can scream at ourselves when something crawls out of the green. The sound tears through the relative quiet and my muscles tense before my mind can catch up. Not now, I think, but it's always now in the slums. Always the worst possible moment. I break into a run, boots clanging against the catwalk. "Bath, you on the overpass?" Rafi's voice cracks in my ear, strained and thin through the cheap radio. "Moving," I say, breath already short, lungs burning with the metallic air. "Where?" "Church," he says, and there's a pause that stretches too long. "And the pens, both lit up." Both is bad. Split a crew thin enough, we become a rumor, a prayer whispered by those who need protection but won't get it. I swallow down the fear that rises like bile. Focus, Beth, one foot in front of the other. I take the stairs two at a time, the steel booming underfoot like a war drum. At the bottom, the ground shakes beneath me, not from my landing, but something else. A freight car rumbles past without lights, no driver in the cabin, a ghost train on a midnight run. The car's windows reflect a green that isn't there, shouldn't be there. My stomach knots. I cut right, past a noodle stall where an old man is frantically shutting his shutters, past a mural of a wolf whose jaw is full of gears, Sector 6's unofficial guardian, watching with eyes that don't see what's coming. Two kids sprint by holding a crate between them. Their eyes are too wide, whites showing all around like spooked horses. They're not running from me. They're running from something I can't see yet, but I can feel it in the way the air is changed, become charged with a wrongness that makes my teeth ache. Then I hear it. A sound like change dragging across concrete and breath coming through metal, wet, hungry, patient. The pens. My heart pounds against my ribs like it wants out, wants to run back up the stairs and away from what's coming. I shouldn't go. The church has people, innocence, prayers. But if the pens break, the slums become meat, a buffet for things that shouldn't exist. What would they do without you? I ask myself. Knowing the answer, they'd die maybe, or maybe not. But I'd never sleep again. I head for the pens.
The pens are a ring of chain link around an old reactor substation where the gangs keep their illegal stock. Guardhounds that aren't exactly dogs, birds that scout with eyes like cameras, and a handful of things nobody claims but everyone feeds. It's supposed to be a truce space, neutral ground and a place where neutrality is as rare as sunlight. Tonight, the gate hangs crooked on bent hinges, and something inside slams against it like a hand trying to claw its way to freedom. I swing the gate open with the baton and flattened against the wall, my back to cold concrete, breath held in lungs that burn for release. Smart, Beth. Real smart. Walking right into the monster's mouth. Green strobes through the yard, pulsing like a diseased heartbeat. The generator inside the substation coughs sparks into the darkness. A handler lies face down in the mud, his arm ending in a ragged stump, blood pooling black in the dim light. Beyond him, a kennel has folded like paper. The thing in it unfolds back, rising from the twisted metal like it's being born. It looks like a dog the way a hook looks like a finger. Too long, too fast, eyes full of liquid green that seems to think. Not animal instinct, but something calculating, almost human in its malice. Its muzzle splits and splits again, petals of meat around a grinder's smile. I feel something cold slither down my spine that has nothing to do with the night air. It sees me. It moves. I jam the baton across its jaws as it hits me, a wall of muscle and bone and hunger. Teeth meet rubber, and my forearms scream with the impact, tendons threatening to snap. We slam into the fence together, a dance of desperation. Lynx shriek in protest. The thing shakes its head like it's trying to peel me off, and my neck snaps back, stars bursting behind my eyes. Don't let go. If you let go, you're dead. I drive my knee up, catch ribs, feel nothing give because there's nothing soft there, nothing that remembers being alive. It lets go to get a better bite, and I shove the baton deeper, twist hard with wrists that protest the movement, then drop and jerk it like a lever. Its jaw pops sideways with a sound like wet branches breaking. It howls. The sound makes dust trickle from the beams overhead, a sound so full of pain and rage that it feels physical, a blow to the chest. I kick it off me and dive for the handler. He's not dead, not yet. He's making that wet whistle sound people make when their body hasn't decided if it's staying, if this shell of flesh is worth the fight. I grab his collar, feel the slick of blood on my fingers, and drag him toward the gate. My shoulders burn with the effort, but I can't leave him. Not like this, not to them. Behind us, cages buckle. Shapes push at wire like water boiling in pots. More than one. More than three. The green catches their eyes, their teeth, outlines things that don't fit together right. My heart hammers against my ribs. Too many. There are too many. Raffi! I pant into the radio, voice tight with fear I can't afford to show. Pens, loose, get me a flare and a net. He says, and there's a pause. The church? Forget the church, I snap, fear making me sharp. They've got flowers and faith. I've got metal and teeth. And fear, I don't add. So much fear, it's like another person standing beside me. He swears and clicks twice. He's coming. Relief floods through me, followed immediately by guilt for dragging him into this. The dog thing recovers faster than it should, bone knitting back into place before my eyes. It stalks instead of charges now. It knows I breathe. It knows I bleed. It dips its head, and green sloughs from its jaw like drool. Where it hits the mud, the dirt smokes, hissing like water on hot metal. I yank a kennel door off its hinge, feeling the metal cut into my palm, and use it like a shield. The thing hits hard enough to dent chain link. My shoulder lights up with fire, the joint threatening to pop. I shove back, step, angle, keeping it between me and the others beginning to claw free. Think, Beth. You can't fight them all. You need an edge. Hey! Someone yells behind me. Night watch! I risk a glance, never taking my eyes fully off the creature in front of me.
2 handlers from a rival crew, bandanas pulled up over their faces, eyes wild above the cloth. One has a coil of rope, the other a spear that used to be a signpost. Their fear is a tangible thing, electric in the air. "You own these?" I snarl, voice ragged with exertion. "Not anymore," he says, and tosses the rope through the air in a perfect arc. "We just feed 'em." The dog thing feints right. I swing left, anticipating. Bad call. It takes the opening, shoulders past my makeshift shield, and we're on the ground, rolling in mud and blood and things I don't want to name. Its breath is rot and static, a smell that burns the inside of my nose. My baton's gone, lost in the fall. Fingers scrabble at flesh, teeth find sleeve. It shakes like it's trying to tear my arm from the socket. My bicep lights with hot nails of pain. This is it, I think. A moment of perfect clarity. This is how Beth from Night Watch ends. Something slaps the thing's flank. Rope. The handler yanks and the loop bites into flesh that gives too easily, like pulling string through soft cheese. The other handler jams his spear down between vertebrae with a grunt born of terror. The thing twists beneath me. The spear slides but catches on something. Green sprays like arterial blood, painting my face with heat that makes my skin go numb where it touches. I don't think. I move. I grab the spear shaft with both hands, slick with mud and blood, and ram it down like I'm ringing a bell, only I hate the bell. It goes in with a sound like punctured rubber. The thing goes ragged beneath me. The green in its eyes flares, then flattens like a television losing power. It jerks once more and slows to a tremble, then stillness. Silence is a trap in the slums. I look up, chest heaving, and see what I knew I would see. The other kennels break, metal tearing like paper. 3 more spill out, one missing a leg but moving like that's someone else's problem. One with feathers along its spine that rustle like knives being sharpened. One small and fast with a mouth like a saw. The handlers who help me don't wait for thanks. They vault the fence and vanish into the alley. Fair, I'd do the same if I had somewhere else to be. I don't run. If I run, they chase. Predator and prey a dance older than the city. I back toward the gate, grabbing the maimed handler with my free hand, dragging him through mud gone slick with blood, boots sliding in a mixture I don't want to contemplate. The legless one leaps like it remembered it still had 4. I snap a sign spear up and it takes the tip in the throat with a sound like a knife into fruit. The metal sticks. It chews the pole. Chews the pole. And the pole shrieks, metal giving way under teeth that shouldn't exist. I let it go, abandoning the weapon. I have my hand back. I want to keep it. Better the spear than my arm. Another comes low, belly to the ground like a snake. I jump. Claws rake my calves, tearing through denim and skin with equal ease. Warmth spills into my boots. I stumble, catch the fence with bloody fingers that leave crimson streaks on rusted metal, and pull us through the gate with a sound like my shoulders unthreading. "Raffi," I groan, a prayer more than a call. "Left," he says in my ear, a benediction. "Now, left." I go left without asking, without hesitation. A flare hisses past my head and hits the mud. It blooms into artificial day, harsh and chemical. The pack balks, retreating from the light. Light scares the green like truth scares a liar. I shield my eyes with a bloodied hand. Raffi appears out of smoke with a net and a length of chain, his face set in grim determination. He doesn't look at the things, he looks at me, assessing damage with a practiced eye. "You ugly," he says, a familiar joke in the face of death. "Hold this." We dance. Not pretty, not balanced, a lot of yelling and cursing and prayers to gods neither of us believes in. The net catches the smallest. It screams at a pitch that makes my vision blur. Raffi wraps chain around the post like he's strangling a giant, muscles standing out in his neck, and I club anything that isn't chain or friend. My arms burn, legs trembling with exertion. Eventually the dog things break, not because we won, but because something else starts screaming louder. The church. "Go," Raffi says, already looping the net's edges to the fence with zip ties, his hands steady as sweat beads on his brow. "I'll clean up and tell everyone I was the hero." You wish, I mutter, and limp away, every step sending fresh pain up my legs. One foot, then the other. Keep moving or don't move at all. Sector 5's church should be quiet at night. It's the one place even gang boys lower their voices, a pocket of peace in a world of noise. Tonight, the doors stand open and the sound inside is not prayer. It's something older. Something that makes the hair on my arms stand up and my teeth clench against a scream. I step over the threshold. The air is cold enough to burn my lungs, to crystallize the sweat on my skin. Frost crawls up the pews in fern patterns, beautiful and deadly. In the center aisle, a woman in work overalls stands with a hammer dangling from one hand. She's staring at the ceiling, motionless like a statue. Her mouth hangs open in a silent scream. Green light pools in her eyes like rain filling cups. She's still in there, I think, trapped in her own body. "Ma'am," I say, gentle, despite the urgency drumming in my veins. "Easy." She doesn't blink, doesn't acknowledge me at all.
I follow her gaze up, dreading what I'll see. Something is crawling on the beams. It might have been a man once, in a time before the green. Now it's more like a spider carved from glass and wire, limbs too long and jointed wrong. Tubes thread its limbs into the wood, drinking sap that shouldn't be there. Its mouth is a lamp, a perfect circle of cold light. When it opens, the light makes the frost grow, creeping across surfaces like living things. 3 others are already cocooned to the trusses. People spun in clear film, faces visible, eyes moving, alive. For now. Their silent terror is a physical thing pressing against my skin. "Hey," I bark, trying to draw its attention. "Down." It turns its head with a mechanical precision that makes my skin crawl. The lamp mouth narrows, focusing. It lifts one hand and points. The hammer tears from the woman's grip and flies at me like it's on string, pulled by invisible force. I duck, feeling the rush of air as it passes. It smashes the door beside my head, wood exploding into splinters that sting my cheek. The woman doesn't flinch. She keeps staring like her neck forgot how to move, a puppet with cut strings. I throw a bolt hook from my belt. It hits the thing's arm and bounces off with a sound like metal on glass. It doesn't bleed. It doesn't care. It crawls closer, slow, sure, confident. It's not worried about me. Why would it be? It operates in the ceiling where I cannot go. I need a different angle. I need it down here. Fine, I say to nobody, to myself, to the empty air, and run down the aisle. It tracks me, head swiveling to follow. Lamplight tightens into a beam. Frost snakes along the floor, catches my boot soles, tries to glue me down. I keep running, tearing free with each step. At the altar, I jump, grab the chain for the cracked bell and yank hard, feeling the cold metal bite into my palms. The bell hasn't sounded right in years, throat cracked from neglect. Tonight, it screams like it's new. The note cuts the air in half, a sound you feel more than hear. Frost shatters, falling like diamond dust. The thing jerks as if struck. The cocooned bodies twitch in unison. The chain in my hands tries to rip my arms off. I yank again, muscles screaming. The rope snaps with a sound like a gunshot. The bell falls, a meteor of bronze and rust. It crashes into the altar below, sending splinters of ancient wood flying. The impact shakes the entire church, a tremor that runs from foundation to rafters. The vibration jolts the ceiling trusses. The thing loses its grip, claws scraping uselessly against wood suddenly in motion. It falls, tumbling through air thick with dust and frost. It lands hard on a pew, crushing the wood to kindling.
The ceiling coughs dust. The thing screams with light, a sound that isn't sound but burns the ears anyway. It struggles to rise, 3 legs scrabbling, lamp mouth oscillating between open and closed like it's panting. I run at it. No plan, just speed and bad options and the knowledge that if I don't stop it, no one will. This is what Night Watch means. This is the job. It blasts. The beam isn't heat. It's cold that acts like fire. It catches my chest, and I feel everything inside me seize like a fist closed around my heart. I tumble backwards, wood biting my back where I hit a pew. Breath doesn't want me anymore. My lungs refuse to expand. Move. I roll under the pews as the beam scythes them to frozen powder above me. It follows, steady, hunting, turning wood to ice that shatters at a touch. I belly crawl like a bug, coat catching on nails, teeth grinding in splinters. My fingers leave bloody prints on the floor, breadcrumbs leading to my death if I'm not faster. I hit the aisle and rise with a roar I didn't know I had, all my fear and rage channeled into sound. I throw my baton like a javelin, desperation giving me accuracy I never had in training. The rubber tip hits the lamp mouth and melts, smoking, stinking like cooked tires. The beam hiccups, stuttering. The light goes wide, unfocused. The pew beside me turns to a sculpture of winter and falls apart into glitter, a beauty I don't have time to appreciate. I jump the last meters and tackle the thing. It's like hugging a meat locker, cold that burns through my clothes to the skin beneath. It gouges my side with a glass hook elbow. I taste copper, my mouth filling with blood. I hammer at tubing, at joints, at anything that looks like it might break. My knuckles split. It doesn't scream this time. It just glares with that lamp hungry and tries to open me like a can, like I'm nothing more than meat for its table. A shadow passes over us. Rafi. He swings the broken bell clapper like a club, the metal whistling through the air. It hits the thing's head and dents the lamp. Light sprays the wall in a flailing cone, wild and uncontrolled. Stained glass ruptures under the assault. A shower of saints rains down in colored shards. "Miss me?" he grunts, already swinging for another blow.
"Always," I rasp and jam my fingers into the gap between lamp and frame where the dent creates space. It's hot cold. A pain that makes black dots pop behind my eyes and a scream build in my throat. I pulled with strength born of desperation. Something tears. The lamp flickers like a dying star. "Hold!" Rafi yells. He jams the clapper again, wedges it under a joint, and levers with his whole body, veins popping in his neck, face red with effort. The lamp pops free with a sound like suction breaking. It keeps shining in my hands, green, hate, hunger, like a living eye cut from a skull. The light pulses with malevolence, a heartbeat of radiation. The body convulses beneath me. Its legs kick wildly, seeking purchase. It punches me in the ribs with a blunt hook, and I feel something crack inside, a sharp pain that makes me gasp. It scrabbles up the wall with unnatural speed and disappears into the rafters, moving fast enough to make the beam groan and protest. "Fire!" someone shouts from the doorway, voice high with panic. I spin, still clutching the creature's lamp despite the pain. A stray beam of green energy has shot from the lamp toward the altar, igniting the ancient wooden structure and the cloth covering it. Flames crawl through the frost like orange animals learning to walk, beautiful and terrible. The woman in overalls blinks like someone waking from a dream and starts screaming, the scream she didn't earlier, the one her throat owed the world, full of terror and confusion. "Get him down!" I bark at Rafi, pointing up at the cocoons with their trapped, terrified occupants. He nods once and jumps onto a broken pew, then another, using the wreckage as a staircase. He grabs a truss like a monkey, knife clenched between his teeth. He cuts web with practiced slashes. A body slumps from its prison. I catch him, teenage boy, still warm, eyes rolling wildly. I shove him toward the doors, toward safety. People appear in the doorway, silhouetted against the night. They grab him and pull him away from the growing inferno. Another body drops from above. We pass them down, assembly line life-saving in a burning place with ice on the floor. The heat and cold battle for dominance, creating a fog that makes it hard to see, hard to breathe. The spider thing reappears at the far end of the church, dragging itself with 3 legs, lampless face dripping something that sizzles on the stones. It's not done. It doesn't need a mouth to hate. I can feel its rage from here, a tangible force. "Out!" I yell, throat raw. "Everyone out!" Ruffy throws me a look that says, "Not yet," and slices the last cocoon with a grunt. A woman falls from the rafters with a sob that sounds like relief. I get under her enough to slow the fall, and my spine sings a terrible song, vertebrae grinding against each other. The thing charges across the church, claws leaving gouges in the wood. I don't have the baton. I have the lamp. It's heavy as sin in my hands. It burns my palms, eating at the flesh. I raise it anyway and meet the thing halfway, like we're old friends separated by war, reunited at last in violence. We collide in the center aisle. The lamp punches the place where its face used to be, the cavity that once held light. The green explodes into dust and light, a miniature sun born and dying in the same instant. The body convulses and skids under me, legs clawing grooves in the frozen aisle, strength going and going until there's nothing left but twitches. It finally lies still beneath me. I lie still too because everything hurts. The fire roars, feeding on ancient wood. The frost hisses as it dies, surrendering to heat. The bell rocks in its cradle like it wants to get back to work, to sound the alarm it couldn't earlier. Strong hands grab me by the collar and haul me up. Rafi. He's coughing from the smoke and bleeding from a cut that gave up on being small, a gash that runs from temple to jaw. We stagger out into cold night air and collapse on the steps as the church spits smoke into a sky that never sees stars. People cluster around us. Some pray with hands clasped and heads bowed. Some spit curses at the burning building. Some stare at me like I owe them change for a service they never asked for. That's fair. I owe everyone something in this city. "Rafi?" I wheeze, voice rough from smoke. "Pens?" "Contained," he coughs, the word tasting of ash. "Mostly." He laughs once and then groans because laughing hurts when your ribs are trying to stab your lungs. "You look like you lost the fight with a train." "One," I say, tasting blood. "Barely." "And what did we win? A night? Maybe 2 before something else crawls out of the green?" A small boy, soot-streaked, points at the lamp still clutched in my hands. "What's that?" His innocence feels out of place in this moment, a reminder of what we're fighting for. "Trash," I say, and I mean it. I walk to the nearest drainage grate, legs trembling with each step, and drop the lamp. It hisses when the runoff kisses it, angry at being discarded. The green flares once more, a final protest, then goes out like a lie caught in daylight.
Sirens wind up on the other side of the sector. Real ones now. The kind that means helmets and reports, and someone in a red tie who will count all this damage and call it balance, who will write off lives in ledgers and sleep soundly after. I don't care. Not tonight. Tonight is for counting the living, not the cost. We get the cocooned 3 to the elder, the old woman who knows more about the green than anyone admits. We don't save anyone we didn't already touch. We don't go back for the dog things. Let them be someone else's problem for a few hours. We don't write a report. We don't make a speech about heroism or duty. I wash my hands in a bucket. My knuckles look like someone else's, swollen and split. My ribs argue every breath, a hot spike with each inhale. Rafi falls asleep sitting up against a wall, head tilted at an angle that will hurt tomorrow. He snores like a man who earned it, loud and unashamed. Dawn limps in, dull and thin, light filtering through the gaps in the plate. The plate hums, pleased with itself and indifferent to the night's horrors. People open stalls like nothing happened, because if they let it be something, it will swallow them. Life in the slums is pretending yesterday won't come for you tomorrow. I walk the Sector 6 overpass one more time, a ritual as much as a duty. The rail below gleams with frost, melt, and ash, a black snake winding through concrete. The city breathes around me, in me. A living thing with metal for bones and Mako for blood. I breathe back, claiming my place in it. The radio clicks, once, twice. Still here. Rafi, checking in. I click twice, confirmation. Night watch, I say to the empty air, to myself, to anyone listening in the shadows. Sector 6, on patrol. Something taps the elevator cage above me, careful, metronomic, like fingers drumming. I don't look up. I level the spear I stole from the pens and keep walking. Night watch means you keep moving, always forward, always vigilant. The sun will come, or it won't. Either way, I'll be here, watching the night.